watching Gov's Radio. This is where you go if you want to see something or if you want to hear something funny. Coming up in just a couple minutes. This is a joke I told. What? I'm not on Gov Radio? Call the police. Call my agent. Hi, I'm Danny.
Tony, welcome to Go.
Hey, Joe, how are you?
I gotta pat you down though, pal.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
Got anything on you? Anything I should know?
I got nothing.
Anything weird going on?
What?
Alright, you go in, Tony.
Good. Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Tom Kelly of The Tom Kelly Show. Yes, this is not the only time I've gotten on my knees in the back room of a comedy club.
The Knock 'em Dead Comedy Radio Show is also brought to you by Two Eagles Auto Body. For more than 25 years, Two Eagles Auto Body has been the leader in auto body repairs and customer satisfaction on Long Island. Two Eagles Auto Body handles every type of auto repair from custom applications and restorations to repairs involving insurance claims. Give Two Eagles Auto Body a call and please ask for John Rossi at 516-328-2527. That's 516-328-2527.
Hey, how do you say there, people? It's Johnny Brennan, creator of the Jerky Boys, also of Fox TV's Family Guy fame. I just want to let you know you're listening to Tony on the Knock 'em Dead radio show. They're gonna keep knocking 'em dead, so keep listening, you wacky sons of bitch. Right there. Over and out there, sweet Charlie.
Long time no see, man. Hey, man, I miss you guys, man, that Knock 'em Dead Comedy Radio.
Hey, Tony, you're not funny, and you probably shit yourself a lot, and you're no fun to be with, and you don't make that much money, and you're not going anywhere in show business, and I hope you get hit by a bus.
Remember, because what you hears today, you got to tell the birthed tomorrow. I'm looking behind us now, across the count of time, down the long hall, into history back. I sees the end, what with the start. And somebody did come.
Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Sorry for the long intro there. I was getting myself set up. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Knock 'em Dead Comedy Show here on Gov's Comedy Club Podcast. What's the matter?
Nothing.
Gov's Comedy Club Podcast, YouTube channel, the Facebook page. Please subscribe and follow and like and thumbs up and share and all that good stuff so that we can get exposure. We appreciate all the support. You guys are the best. The Knock 'em Dead Comedy Show right here on Gov's Comedy Club Podcast. If you'd like to comment throughout the show, and we hope you do because we love interacting with you guys, please do so on the YouTube feed because that is where we monitor the comments, just like John Rusiello just did. Good morning, friends. You too, Kaplan. He's starting with you already.
Screw you, Rusiello.
He's a feisty.
He is feisty.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. But he was very. He's always very supportive, and he was very nice yesterday to our guest. Yesterday, had a lot of nice things to say about her, which made her day. John, I want you to know that.
She must have been pretty.
Of course, I only allow pretty people on this show.
Oh, very nice. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, I shaved for you today.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you.
And speaking of positive feedback, I have been getting a lot of positive feedback about you
Really?
being on this show. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Honest, yeah. Well, we've been pals for, what, over 25 years.
Yeah.
And, yeah, we've done various things together, acting-wise and sexually, and we've always had a good chemistry. And
yes.
including here. And, yeah, I've been getting some positive feedback.
Nice.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you. Thank you, Michael, for being a part of the show. Don't touch me. So, all right. So before and speaking of which, it is just you and me here today. We were supposed to have a guest. Samantha Ramsdell was going to Zoom in with us at noon. She canceled.
Why?
Just maybe 45 minutes ago, she canceled. She actually has a good excuse. Excuse me. She has many animals. Like several. I think she has 3 cats and 2 or 3 dogs. Yeah, she's got a bunch of furry shit. And one of her cats has taken ill, and she has to put the cat down today.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's a pretty good excuse.
Yeah.
Samantha Ramsdell, she is performing here at Governor's on Sunday. She did say maybe we can reschedule. So, yeah, I'm going to try and reschedule. I do have a guest tomorrow. I have a few guests on Friday, but I'm going to try and make it work somehow to fit her in. And,
she is funny.
Yeah. You checked her out?
Yes, I checked her out.
She's
very funny.
Well, all right. So here's the thing, and this is what I wanted to ask her about today. So and I agree. Her TikTok videos are hilarious.
Yes.
I really got a kick out of them.
Yeah.
But she's one of those people that is a TikTok sensation. She was unknown. She made it big on TikTok, so now she's got a following. And now she's doing stand-up. Now, a lot of times, these internet sensations, they make it big through their videos, and now they're trying to cash in, so they'll make personal appearances. A lot of them take up stand-up.
Yeah.
And taking up stand-up is not as easy as it sounds. We've been talking about it.
No.
So a lot of times these TikTok, YouTube sensations, they jump up on stage and they suck because they don't know the craft. There's one guy, Nicky Smiggs. One of his may have been his first ever stand-up appearance was here because he made it big on social media, doing impressions and doing silly videos. And I was here. I was in this room, and the green room's right there, and he was a nervous wreck. The club brought in Anthony Rodea and a few other comedians to kind of, make things better. But this kid did not have a good night on stage. It didn't go well. And to his credit, he's been working hard, and from what I understand now, his act is pretty good. And credit to him. But that's just one guy. Most of these people, these internet sensations, they go out, and, yeah, they're not good. I've seen a few here, and they're not good.
Well, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but being in front of a camera with no audience is a big difference than standing up,
right?
Being totally naked, as you will. It's an acting term. In front of a live audience.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, whether it's a movie, a TV show, I mean, if you screw it up, you can do it again.
Yeah.
and a lot of their content, and I'm not knocking the content, but it's not stand-up stuff. It's not like and I'll get to in a second. I'll tell you what Samantha does on her TikTok, but like the stuff she does wouldn't translate onto a stage.
No.
Now, all right. So now the reason I bring this up with Samantha Ramsdell, I have not seen her stand-up. I take that back. I've seen maybe a minute, a video of maybe a minute of her doing stand-up. She was getting great reactions on stage. But the difference with her is before she hit it on big on social media, she was already doing stand-up.
Oh,
so
I didn't know
you're
that.
right. So, and that's what I wanted to ask her about. Maybe, and she has acting experience. She sings. She's done improv. So I'm assuming she has, she's ahead of the game, I guess, so to speak.
Yeah.
She didn't get into stand-up to cash in on the social media. Like she was already doing that, and then happened to hit it big on the internet. So now she's using that to her advantage. So I'm gonna assume that she does a nice job out there. I would bet money that she does really well, and I'm thinking about maybe even coming here Sunday night to see her, because her videos cracked me up. I was hysterical. Samantha Ramsdell, if you don't know her, I mean, she's got millions of followers on TikTok, but her claim to fame is that she has got, according to the Guinness Book of World Records, she has the biggest mouth.
Yes, I know.
She's now. I've seen photos where she's measuring it.
Yes.
And she claims Guinness has
And there's a lot of
verified.
pictures of her with her. Yeah.
Now I do not know, and I purposely avoided it because I was hoping today she would actually tell me, and I wanted to react.
Sure.
I don't know how big the mouth is. I don't know what it measures out to.
No.
And like I said, I was gonna ask her today. But there are videos of her taking big Subway sandwiches and she can put the whole thing in her mouth.
And I know people will go down the rabbit hole with that.
But she does too.
Yeah.
She's cool with it.
Yeah.
But she doesn't just go down the obvious places.
No, I know
with that.
she doesn't. No.
But she has plenty of videos that she makes that have nothing to do with that too.
Oh yeah.
Do you see these videos that she does with her boyfriend or husband, whoever he is? His name is James.
I don't know if it's a husband or boyfriend.
Yeah, I don't know who he is.
I don't know.
It's so funny that she'll show you a TikTok video from somebody else, like this one. There's a guy who grabs his girl by the bottom of her legs, and just kind of slides her up a wall and holds her. Right, so she takes weird videos like that, and then she tries to recreate them with her husband or boyfriend, and it's just a train wreck. And she's just so funny, she's singing songs during it, and she's just really funny with her comments. So there's one, the guy slides her up, so she grabs her man. So they show him trying to do it, and he manages to get her up there, right? He's holding her by her shins, and he drags her up, and she's all and that too. When they accomplish the feat, she gets so excited, and she's so funny with her reactions.
Her energy is really incredible.
So they're all excited. They do it, right? But then he brings her down, and she lands in a funny way, so her ass hits the wall and goes through the wall. So now they have this big giant hole in the wall, and the two of them are just standing there looking at it, and then you just hear the boyfriend you just hear a silent little fuck. And there's another one. You see this one guy. He's having a romantic dinner with his girl, and as the camera pans out, this guy turns out to be some track star, and they're having dinner on a track. So he's got the candlelight, the champagne, the food, and the pretty girl sitting there. But then the track star gets up, and he's got a string tied to him, and he takes off. He runs down the track, and the string is pulling, and it's tied to the tablecloth. So as he's running, sure enough, the tablecloth comes off, but it, like the old magic trick, you pull the tablecloth and everything stays.
Yeah.
So then she tries it in her backyard.
Oh, God.
It's so funny. You see this stuff go all over the place. There's a bunch of physical feats that they try to recreate, and it's just so funny. Samantha Ramsdell is her name. She is hilarious. I definitely recommend you guys check her out. So we hope she's doing okay today with her with her cat, and all the best to her.
She tell you the name of the cat?
She did not. Does that make a difference?
It does.
How so?
Because it personalizes everything.
Oh. So when she tells me she's putting her cat down and she's a mess, that's not enough?
No.
So
I'm very sorry to hear that. What's your cat's name?
So it only really
it's
registers
Muffy.
when you hear. So Muffy.
Yeah.
So if I heard
if it's
Muffy, that would make it worse for me?
I'll say a prayer for Muffy, you and Muffy, yes. And what it does, it shows someone that you really take a vested interest in their issues.
But I'm really not. I just want her on the show. No, I'm kidding. I wrote back, hey, look, no problem. That don't worry about it. It's okay. Yeah, if you have time to do it sometime this week, we'll make it happen.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting me know. That's
nice.
Yeah, that's a good response, right?
Okay. It was.
It should have followed up with what's the cat's name?
Yeah, I'll say a prayer for you and your kitty cat.
Is it? Wait a minute. Oh, it is. It's him. All right, we're gonna get yelled at. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Ooh.
The only man in the world that would worry about the fucking cat's name. God bless the cat. I'm sorry you have to put it down. But only your co-host on Wednesdays wants to know the cat's name.
Right.
Does this
It's
make
important.
Does this make any sense to you?
No,
because he's an animal hater. Even though he's an animal lover, but you have to be personal with people.
First of all, let me explain something to you. He hates cats. I swear on all that's holy, this man hates cats. He ain't too fond of dogs either, but he hates cats. And I'll tell you why, off the air, why he hates cats.
Oh, okay. Off the air.
Okay.
Yeah, well.
Off the air, because I don't want to embarrass him that much. I'm only going to embarrass him a little bit today. All right, now I want you to do me a favor. I want you to make sure you're on a very good show. You're very professional. This man is coming down to visit me sometime in May, which I'm very excited to have his company. I miss him terribly, but I want you to make sure that he doesn't interfere with his schedule of your show.
All right, I'll discuss that with him.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Because if he does, I'm gonna lock the fucking door and won't let him in.
Whoa.
All right.
Whoa.
Yeah. No. Because you take priorities.
You're very feisty today. Calm down. I don't want you.
And Dawn
injuring
Maria
yourself.
let me in.
I'm not. I can't injure myself. There's nothing to injure. Everything is dead. Have a good show. All right, and tell Mr. Costad or whatever he's wearing that he has to stop promoting them. He's not getting any money of them. Half his wardrobe is Costad. I think he has a Costad tuxedo.
Carhartt.
Goodbye.
I didn't have the heart to tell him it's not Karstadt.
Karstead, California. That's where this particular garment comes from.
How come you know where all your clothes come from? That's never been. Is that a thing? Do people really keep track of where their clothes come from?
No, Carhartt, I believe, is made in Vietnam. I think. I don't know.
Oh, is it?
I think so.
Oh, that kind of bothers me. I don't know. Will Wagner says, "Good morning, guys. Good morning, Will. Good morning, Mickey." All right. Well, John, I hate cats too. I do. I think they're weird. They freak me out.
Why?
Because they're weird. They're always like, and they do weird things.
Well, they do weird things. The weirdest thing they do for me is every time they walk in a room, they could be living with you for 20 years.
Yeah.
They'll walk into a room like they've never been in that room before.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. They'll.
So they're very suspicious creatures.
I was talking about it yesterday with our guest, Allison Chadwick. Yeah, they do weird things like that, and I don't know, it does. It freaks me out a little bit. And
you don't own a cat?
When Lisa and I first got married,
I remember that cat.
She had a cat.
Yeah, I remember
that thing was
cat.
the meanest thing in the world.
Yeah, that cat was
the
mean.
meanest cat. This cat bit. This cat was declawed in the front, her front paws.
Oh, that's why it bit you.
Somehow, I almost killed this cat once because Sammy was a baby and she was trying to play with the cat, and to this day I don't even know how because she was declawed, but she still managed to scratch Sammy's face, and when that happened, oh yeah, I was inches away from just like snapping a cat in half, like. That
must have got her with the back claws.
or she tried to bite her. I don't know.
Maybe.
I didn't see it. It was very weird. The cat was behind some bushes in the backyard, and Sammy went back there to play with her, and then Sammy came out with a scratch and bleeding, and I was pissed. But yeah, this cat was only friendly to Lisa. This cat
really?
would attack everybody else. Now at the time, I had 2 dogs. So when Lisa first moved in, we had to figure out, all right, we need to get these animals acclimated. Mm-hmm. So Lisa, she had moved into a house that I already had. So she moved in, physically moved in, and she brought the cat. So I took the 2 dogs, and we were sitting in one of the bedrooms, and I closed the door, and she just let the cat walk around the house, just kind of check it all out. It's probably maybe a half hour. And then she's like, all right, let's let the dogs out.
The dogs, Maggie, right?
Maggie was one of them.
And I forgot the name of the other one.
Precious.
How could I not forget that?
Let me just, as a side note, let me just tell you, I did not name either one of these dogs. These dogs, I got them both from a rescue. They were already named.
Yeah.
Okay, just like my dog Manny that I had, even my current dog, his name is Petey, which is fitting because I love the Little Rascals, and their dog was Petey. But all these dogs already had their names. I did not name any of my dogs. So I had Maggie and Precious. Precious was a great dog, though. But
oh, yeah.
Yeah, I love that dog. And they were both small. They're both 10 pounds each. So I walk out like this, into the house. They see the cat, and they're cool. They just, they're just kind of hanging out. I don't know what happens. Probably about a half hour later, Maggie was a Maltese. I don't know what happened. She all of a sudden decides to chase the cat. And the cat, and Lisa was walking into the house. So the cat runs out as the door's closing. Maggie just makes it out. I'm like, oh, shit. And they take off. I'm like, fuck. They run into my next door neighbor's bushes. This was right out of a cartoon. The cat goes into the bushes. Maggie follows into the bushes. You hear a bunch of ruffling. 5 seconds later, Maggie comes out of the bushes, and here comes the cat chasing Maggie. It was the craziest thing. And I'm watching this. I'm like, what the fuck? They both run back into the house, and that's when I grabbed Maggie so the cat couldn't get to her. And that was that. From that day on, the dogs avoided the cat. They never did anything. They never would even look at her. And maybe once a month, the cat would just go and smack one of the dogs.
But they cohabitated for years together.
Yeah.
You moved to that other house and you had the cat.
Yeah. So, yeah, so between the 2 houses, these 3 animals lived together for about, give or take, about 5 years. Yeah. Maggie, actually more than that. Well, Maggie, we eventually sent to a rescue. So we found somebody to take her. This dog had gotten sick. The kids were babies. This dog was throwing up all over the house and stuff. And we're like, no, we have these young babies. So we found somebody to take Maggie. But
I remember that.
But that was that was tough. And then that was about 4 or 5 years in. But then we still had Precious for another 6 years after that. Precious died 6 years later. The cat died 2 weeks later. Yeah. Yeah, it was kind of weird. The cat, and they say that about cats. They know when they're going to die, and they don't want, for whatever reason, they don't stick around. This is another weird thing about cats. They don't stick around their home when they're going to die. They leave.
They usually go find a spot.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's usually not at home, or it's maybe just close to home.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. This cat was sick for months, and you could just we waited we were like, oh, any day this cat's going to go. And how it lasted that long, I have no idea. But eventually, she did disappear. And we're like, oh, okay. Well, we haven't seen her in a couple of weeks. I guess she died. It wasn't until we were moving. If you remember, I had a big deck.
Oh yeah.
And it was high up, and so underneath the deck, you could fully walk underneath this deck without bending over. Well, for about half the deck. Yeah, about half the deck was you could walk in. The other half it was like a crawl space. And when we were when we sold that house and we were moving, I used that area for storage underneath. So I was taking stuff out, and I'm looking into the area that's like a crawl space, and I see this this shape. I couldn't even make out what it was. I'm like, what in the world is that? So I'm getting closer, and I just see it's just a big lump of fur. I'm like, son of a bitch, that's the cat.
Yeah.
And this was 11 years later. This was 11 years after the dog died. And I'm like, what? I was like, it's the cat. So I go to Lisa. I'm like, you're not going to believe this. I said, but I think I found your cat. And I wouldn't go near it. Dead animals freak me out. That's just a pet peeve of mine. Like, I
No
can't.
pun intended.
No pun intended.
There you go.
Oh, that was good. Good catch. I just can't. Yeah, I like if an animal dies, I have a hard time like grabbing it or taking it.
You've never put down an animal and hold it while it's getting the shot?
I was going to get to that.
I'm sorry.
I'll just quickly finish. Nothing to be sorry about, but thank you. I'll finish this quick. So Zach actually went and got the cat.
A shovel.
But it was weird. 11 years later, this thing wasn't eaten, wasn't ravaged by bugs.
That's wild.
And he said he could still see its face. Like this thing was like fully intact, which shocked us. So yeah, Lisa put her in a box, and we had a proper, we buried her. But
yeah,
we thought that was the weirdest thing. Okay, so yes, so fast forward. 2010, we got another dog. This dog was a terrier pit mix. His name was Manny. This dog, we got the dog so Zach was around 9 or 10, so Sammy would have been like 10 or 11, maybe 12. Nah, she was like 10 or 11. This dog, so this was like the first time like the kids had got a dog that they can remember. This dog was there, with them. And this dog, you couldn't ask for a sweeter dog. He played with the kids constantly. He protected them. He just loved the kids, and they loved him, and they couldn't get enough of him. And he definitely had a weird but good, like some kind of connection with Sammy. Because Sammy, when she was little, she would go outside. She had a trampoline and a swing, and like she would spend hours on both of them. Like she would swing for just hours on this thing. She just loved swinging, and the same with the trampoline. She would just bounce for so long. But I'd be in the living room. This dog would get up off the couch and run to the back door. Then I'd hear Sammy's bedroom door opening. Like this dog, he knew. He would go to the back door and Sammy would come out. So there's the dog is. She opened the door and they'd go out and he would sit by her the whole time that she was doing any of this. He had some kind of strange connection to her. Yeah. He spent most nights sleeping by her. Yeah, this dog just loved Sammy. So when he passed, we had to put him down. It was really bad. Lisa and Zach had gone up to Lake George with a bunch of Lisa and her friends. They have this annual thing. They've been doing it for almost 40 years where they go up to Lake George together, for a few days. So I don't remember why, but for whatever reason, me and Sammy didn't go. And and the dog, it's just, I don't know, it seemed like he was breathing weird. It just seemed like he was struggling a little bit. Zach actually was the one who picked it up. Something's wrong. Like, nah, it's the summer. He's just hot. He never handled summers well. But yeah, so while they were, so I made an appointment, which happened to land while they were in Lake George. So I took him, and yeah, sure enough, he had like cancer all over the place. And I felt bad. I was like, shit, Zach was right. And the doctor was like, no, this, he goes, I asked him, I said, when we first noticed he was breathing weird in June, I said, would that have made a difference? And he goes, no, by then the cancer was all over the place, most likely at that time too. He goes, you would have had to spot this months ago, maybe even a year or two ago. He goes, no, because so that made me feel a little bit better, but didn't make me feel any bit better for the dog. They were willing to try and save him, but it would have cost thousands.
Oh yeah,
thousands, yeah. And they really didn't think, they weren't even 100% it was going to work. So they're like, yeah, we think you have some decisions to make. Like, son of a bitch. So that's what I had to greet Zach and Lisa home with, and they got home from Lake George. So
you did that while Lisa.
I didn't put him down.
Oh, okay.
No. No. But I didn't tell them the news about the cancer until they came home.
I see.
And then tell them, hey, look, we may have to put him down. So we were trying to think what to do. It was very strange, right? So as soon as we found this out, or as soon as I told them, within 2 weeks, I mean, right as soon as I told them, this dog just went on a steady decline. Like, it was getting really bad. So it was only 2 weeks later, we're like, yeah, we got to do this. So, and I'll never forget, it was September 13th, 2017. Like, he was, like, you could almost see in his face, like, he wanted to go. He was, but September 13th is Lisa's birthday. She's like, please, can we not put this dog down on my birthday? Okay, so we waited one more day. And, yeah, again, this dog was like, he was done. So, yeah, so we brought him in on September 14th. And, yeah, they gave him the shot. The four of us were standing right there.
Oh, the kids were with you.
Oh, yeah, they wanted to be. And, yeah, it was weird. That was the only time I've ever put an animal down. So his eyes were open. Like, as soon as they gave him the shot, he's looking at us, right? And the four of us are, like, almost fighting with each other to be in his sight. And so they put him down. His eyes are open. But as soon as they gave him the shot, his head just starts sinking.
Yeah.
And we're all going with him. We're here, Manny. We're here. It's okay. So he's resting his head, but his eyes are open. So we're still talking to him. It's okay, Manny. You're all right. Sure. All of a sudden, the vet, he puts his hand on my shoulder. He goes, he's gone. We're like, oh, all right. Well, his eyes are open. We didn't know. So, yeah, the kids were crying. Well, we were all crying. And the vet said, he turns to me. He goes, this was the right move. He goes, I couldn't say that to you.
Yeah.
But this dog was, he goes, it was bad. He goes, this is.
How old was he?
Well, when we got him, they told us he was 2. And they also don't tell you he's a pit either.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So I never really listened much to what the pound rescues say, because they always try to put as positive a spin as they can in hopes that somebody takes these dogs.
Sure.
So I personally think he was older. And like I said, of course, they don't tell you he was a pit. They say he was a terrier.
Oh,
mixed.
yeah, of course.
But you saw it all over his face. He was pit. But I was cool with that. He was the nicest dog, best dog we've ever had. So, yeah, the kids were a mess. And then I remember, and then the vet was like, take all the time you need. So we're just sitting in this room with this dead dog, and his tongue was out. And we're just there. We're letting the kids have their time. But then Lisa, she kind of pokes me, and she's pointing. The dog's tongue, on the very end of it, was starting to turn blue already.
Oh. And
I was like, oh, shit, look at that. So she's like, let's get the kids out of here before he really starts to. So that was that. We got Manny. Yeah, it was 2010. The kids were starting to ask for a dog, and I'm like, oh, man. We had been without a dog for 2 years at that point. I'm like, I was kind of enjoying the freedom.
Oh, yeah.
Having to watch a dog, clean up after the dog, feed the dog, all this stuff. But what happened was, we had this girl I went to high school with. She owned a dog grooming store, whatever you call them. And she posted on Facebook that somebody had dropped a dog off. And it turned out the contact information they left was fake. So she's like, yeah, this dog is very old, doesn't really walk well. She goes, I guess their owners didn't have the heart to put him down. She goes, but I'm stuck with this dog. Does anybody want to take this dog? And as I'm reading it on Facebook, I'm just reading the whole thing, right? And there's one picture. I also hear behind me, Dad, can we get this dog? I didn't even know Zach was standing there. I'm like, and I'm looking, I'm like, oh, man. The grooming store was in Belmore, which is one town over from where we were living at the time. I'm like, and I don't know, like, I'm a softie, I'm like, what do I say? No, I was like, fine. And it was like 10:30 at night. I'm like, all right, Zach, let's go get this dog. So we go. We meet my friend at her place. This dog could hardly move. This dog was in such bad shape. And as soon as I saw this dog, I'm like, oh, no. Like, I just knew Zach's heart would be broken. Like,
yeah.
But I knew, like, what am I going to do with this thing? So I'm like, all right, Zach, let's take the dog home. We had to carry this thing upstairs to get it out of this grooming place. I had my van at the time. We bring it in the van. We go home. My kids are thrilled. I mean, they are just so in love with this dog. This dog's name was Magoo.
Oh, that's a funny name.
Yeah, I thought it was a great name.
Yeah.
And he loved the kids, and so we're there for. So yeah, like I said, it was like 10:30 at night. We then, so the next morning they're in love with this dog, and he's doing fine. He's now walking with them. He's old. He's not running.
Yeah.
But they're all over him, and he's in love with it, and they're playing. Towards the end of the day, you start seeing signs of him slowing down and stuff. So the next day, the kids go off to school. I went to work, and Lisa called me up. She goes, this dog is leaking from all different spots of his body. She goes, and he can't move. So I was like, screw it. I went to my boss. I was still in my garage, the garage I worked out of. I went to my boss, said, put me down for personal day. I got something I got to do. So I went back home. I get home. I come into the house, and there the dog is. His back legs couldn't move. And his front paws, he's dragging himself through the house, and he's trying to get outside. Like, this dog knew I have to do my business outside. Like, I can't do it in the house. So he was dragging himself, trying to get out. I was like, what? And this dog was big. I was like, oh, my goodness. So I grab him, and I'm dragging him because he was heavy. And I bring him out. And, again, I have the high deck. So now... And he did. He's doing his business on the deck. Like by the time I got him outside, like I needed a break.
Yeah.
He's doing his business, and he is. He's drooling. There's like weird liquid coming out of his ass. Like this dog was a mess. And I'm like, you know what? Screw this. I'm just going to tell the dogs that he died. And I'm just going to take this dog to the rescue, to the pound, and just take him out of his misery. This dog was a mess. So. But he was dead weight. I couldn't lift this thing. So,
how'd you get him in the car?
Well, that's the thing. So, but you guys, we have our murder mystery shows. I have a lot of equipment, sound equipment, and microphones, and props, and costumes. I have a dolly that I use to bring everything into the shows. I grab the dolly and I bring it out to the backyard. I'm like, all right, I'll just wheel the dog to my van. But now this dolly, it's like, it's got the metal bars, and, that's what you grab for the handle, and the same thing on the, where you put your stuff. It's just, there was no plywood or any flat piece. Everything just sat on the dolly as is. So I'm not thinking. I put the dog on the dolly, and his legs immediately go through, in between the bars. So now they're dragging on the ground. I'm like, oh, fuck. Had to pick him back off the dolly. I had to get some cardboard. I put it on the dolly, and I put him back on it.
Oh, my
God. It was a mess. Wheel him out to my van. I go into the rescue, and I tell them what's going on. They get they get one vet. He comes out to my van and goes, let me take a look. Because I explained to him how heavy this thing is. He comes into the van. I'm outside the van. He's looking. He goes, excuse me a second. He goes in. He comes out with two other vets. They go in. They're in my van for probably 10, 15 minutes. I'm just standing outside the thing like, what is going on? Like, are they doing surgery in there? Like, what is going on? Sure enough, they come out. They're like, yeah, this dog's in really bad shape. He should have been put down already. Like, this dog is beyond. I'm like, yeah, all right. So I explained to them, like, the whole thing, everything I'm boring you guys with. So, okay, all right. Like, they felt better. They almost felt like I was doing this dog a disservice. I'm like, no, I just met this dog 2 days ago.
Yeah.
They get 3 more guys out of the vet. The 6th of them carry this dog. Like, they're squished all over each other coming out of the van. But they're all 6 guys are carrying this dog out. They take him into the inside the pound. They're like, yeah, we're gonna do what we got to do.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So I lied to the kids. I just flat out lied. I said, after you guys left, because they saw him sick that morning when they were going to school. So I just said, yeah, he eventually died. I didn't have the heart to tell them. I brought him to the pound where they're going to kill him. I just didn't have the heart. So I said to them, they were upset. So I said, you know what? Let's go back there right now and let's find a dog.
Wow.
So that's what we did. So we went back. But here's the thing. Sorry for this long story, but so we go back to the pound, and we're looking at dogs, and we see this one, and when if you're not familiar, if you see a dog you like, they have a room. I don't know,
yeah,
they have a room, like a private room. Yeah, a meeting room. We all go in. They get the dog. They bring him in. They see how everybody gets along. I'm like, all right, this dog seems nice. But we weren't 100%, but like, this dog seems nice. So we have some time with him. They put him back. We're like, all right, let's just look around a little bit more. We're walking. We get, to one of the stalls, whatever you want to call it, where each dog sits.
Pen.
Thank you. We're walking. We get to the very end of this one aisle, and there's Magoo. And he's just laying there, and he's looking at us.
Come on.
I swear to you. And I'm like, I noticed it. I'm like, what the? But before I can even react, Zach goes, that looks just like Magoo. I'm like, come on, guys, let's keep going. Let's go. So they're looking around some more. I go to the front desk. I go, can you tell me why this dog is still alive and why he's out for people to see? Because they knew who I was at this point because I'd spent the day there practically.
Yeah.
They said, well, by law, we have to hold on to the dog for X amount of time in case the owner shows up. I'm like, the owner deserted this dog. We have absolutely no idea where this dog came from. Like, these people are not going to find this dog. This dog shouldn't be found. This dog is in pain. Like, why? I'm like, well, it's just what we have to do. And so I just said to him, I go, well, it would have been nice if you told me when you saw me bring my kids in here.
Yeah.
And that was it, and I just walked away. I couldn't believe it. Like, there he is, and he couldn't move. He's just a big blob on the floor, and he's just looking at us. And you can see it all over his face, like, thanks for nothing, you assholes, And I did. I physically grabbed him, and I pushed him. Like, come on, guys, let's go look at more dogs. I couldn't believe it. But
they said he needs to be put down.
Yes. Yep. And there were vets there. It's not like, oh, well, the doctor wasn't in today. Like, there were 3 vets in my van.
And they put him in a pen.
Yeah. And he was sitting right there. Thankfully, they didn't have a sign that said Magoo. Like all the dogs, usually they have the names up on a placard. Like, if that was there, then my kids would have been like, ah! So I dodged a bullet there. I couldn't believe it. But
that's very strange because when I worked for the town of Islip, I knew a lot of animal shelter people.
Right.
And if a dog was ill or a cat was ill or any type of animal was ill, they would not put him in the normal population as the prisons like Gen Pop.
Right. They usually... Right.
There'd be a back room or something for them to... Whatever.
I have no idea. But that's what happened. Believe me, that's what happened. I was...
Your kids could have freaked out.
Yeah, that could have been like scarred them. Yeah, that could have been really bad. Fortunately, and I think I have since told them. I mean, my kids are,
yeah, they're older now.
They're in their 20s now, but I'm pretty sure I have told them. But we were actually leaving, and that's when I saw a picture on the wall of Manny. I was like, well, wait a minute, who's that? And they said, oh yeah, that's Manny, and I forget if he wasn't out or if we just missed him, but they then sent us to where he was, and. Like the dogs get all crazy at the pen, they're anxious. They want, and he wasn't. And I was like, all right, there's either something wrong with him or he's a good dog. So we went into this private room with him, and the kids loved him. And, it was just it's just one of those things. Like you just knew, oh, this is the one.
Yeah.
So
they usually pick you.
Yeah, right. So, so the next day they went to school. I went back to the place and said that's the dog we want, and I don't know, they have to I don't know what they have to do to these things, but you can't just walk over and grab them. They prep these dogs somehow, and I guess they have to process paperwork and stuff. So I didn't get them right away, but sure enough, I get a call from the school, Zach's school. He was all upset because Magoo had died, and he was still upset. And I said to the therapist who called, I said, are you guys suggesting I come get him? And she said, well, we were kind of going to leave it up to you. And I said, well, what do you think? She says, well, he's upset. He was crying at one point, but currently he seems to be doing all right. So I told the therapist, I said, well, I'm in the process of getting another dog. I said, there is a chance I'll have him by the end of the day.
Yeah.
I said, so if you think he can make it through the day, that'd be great. And they're like, okay. And so they said, all right, we'll try it. And if we have any problems, we'll call you. I didn't hear back. And I ended up getting Manny. So I called the school. I picked him. I got Manny literally a half hour before school ends. So I called the school. I said, because he had a bus. I said, don't put him on the bus. I said, I'm coming to get him.
Okay.
Great. So I'm waiting outside the school with the dog.
Nice.
So yeah, he Yeah, he came out those doors, and he wasn't even fully out the door, and he saw the dog. He came running. I might even have video of that somewhere. But, yeah, and then that dog was with us for 7 years until he got sick. But it was the perfect time. My kids are 10 or 11, so, they were 17, 18 when he died. So, they grew up with him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, that was
like the meat of their childhood.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
he was a great dog.
The best. Like I said, he had a connection to Sammy. Yeah, they just loved him. So all of our pictures from those times, or he's in them. All of our family memories he's a part of.
Nice.
So yeah, that was a good thing. So so there you go. Nice long story for you, all because of Samantha Ramsdell. So,
thank you, Samantha.
Thanks for that.
I have a couple of stories. I'll make them quick.
Why?
I'll give you the unabridged version.
I just gave you the Bible long version.
Well, first of all, getting back to the cats, I'll gladly tell you why
okay.
I have a problem with cats.
Okay.
My ex-wife, Barbara,
Yep.
she used to feed, we had a big porch, and she used to put food out there because there was a couple strays that when we first moved in. So all of a sudden now there's 2 or 3, 4 cats. They lived outside, but now they're not fixed. Now they spray all over the place. Now on a hot summer day, you walk outside the front door and you smell that.
And it smells like piss, right?
It smells like, it's disgusting.
Yeah.
So it was a battle for years and years and years. She took one cat in that had this big abscess on his leg, named Jax, and that's the story. So we always had cats. We always had dogs and cats. One time we had 2 dogs, 2 cats. I never bonded with any of these fucking fucks.
Not even dogs. You look like a dog guy to me. You're not, huh?
I love dogs, but I like my freedom more. I know that sounds terrible. There's,
Yeah, but at least you're honest about it.
But I had dogs. We actually rescued a greyhound once, which was an amazing animal.
I remember that.
Do you remember that?
Right.
We had him less than a year. He got cancer, and I remember being so upset that because they treat greyhounds terribly.
Yes.
And I remember laying on the floor when they were putting him down, and I was hysterical because I felt so bad. And that's the end of that story. And then Roxy, you remember Roxy?
I remember you having a dog, Roxy. What was it?
Roxy. She was a little
what kind
black
of dog?
dog.
Little black dog?
She was a Basset Hound Shepherd mix.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, she was
I
nice.
definitely remember you having Roxy. I can't really
she was
picture
a nice dog.
I remember you having the greyhound.
And she was so sensitive. If Barbara and I were having an argument, a fight, which was very often, she would go into the bathtub.
Into the bathtub?
She would hide in the bathtub.
Because you guys were throwing things, and that was a good place to...
I don't know. That was her hiding spot. Yeah.
Well, that's the dog I have now. He's a Basset Beagle mix.
Oh, does he howl?
Yeah.
I know you said he makes noises.
It's not like a full-blown howl, but it's whining, and it's probably 20 out of 24 hours a day. Like even like things are quiet and the whole family's sitting around him, and he's still like, what the fuck is your problem? In fact, just yesterday, I'm sitting on the couch. The Met game was a day game, so I figured I'd watch a little bit of the game after I got home from here while I'm having lunch. And the dog's sitting there, and he's just staring at me. So I'm eating, and I'm trying to just watch the game. I'm like, so finally I turn to him. I go, Petey, what? And he's just like, I'm like, what? He's very good. If he wants to go out, he'll go to the back door, and he'll stand there. So he didn't have to go out. I don't know, maybe the fact that I was eating, but even after I was done eating, he's still just staring at me.
Did you try to give him something?
No.
Maybe he didn't want anything.
I don't know. He gets fed twice a day. He gets treats a little bit. I never give him human food.
Okay.
I don't want that habit. I hate that because then that's when they get at your feet when you're eating and stuff. Like I teach them no. I never once gave Manny any human food until the day he was dying. The day we were putting him down, I made a steak. I cut it in half. I had half. I gave him the other half.
Wow, that's nice.
That's the only time I ever gave him human food, and he loved it. Oh my God, he ate that steak up. But yeah, I don't know what his problem was, and he's just staring at me. So finally, I said, "You know what, Petey? Get away from me! just get away from me!" Like it's constant. He's a very vocal dog. What?
Well, I know beagles are very vocal.
Oh, is that right?
They howl.
Yeah, he's a pain in the ass. He doesn't bark a lot. It's a constant whining.
But he's sweet.
He's sweet, but he's hyper. And,
that's right, he's hyper.
And he's hyper and always wants to play. Like there's no break. Sal, you know Sal, my buddy Sal.
Yeah.
Sal is a big dog guy. He trains them. He knows all about them. First time he met Petey's jumping all over him. And it was probably, in fact, yeah, so it was probably about a half hour that Sal's over the house and this dog's jumping over him. And Sal's all over it at first, loving every second of it. But sure enough, after a half hour, he turns to me, he goes, he's going to calm down eventually, right? I go, no, Sal, he's not going to calm down. This is what this asshole is. 3 hours later, Sal says to me, he goes, yeah, you're right, this dog doesn't stop. The whole 3 hours, Petey's just jumping all over him. Sal at one point even grabbed him. He grabbed him by the head and opened up his mouth. Because, again, if Sal is a friend of mine, he's like,
yeah, he's
Sasquatch.
Yeah.
So he just grabbed the dog and he opened his mouth. And I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
He goes, I'm looking at his teeth. I'm like, okay. He goes, I wanted to see the teeth. He goes, they're adult teeth. This dog is an adult. I said, yeah, I know. He goes, well, I'm just looking. He goes, because I wanted to be sure because this dog acts like a puppy. He goes, I've never seen this before. He goes, he acts like a puppy, but he's an adult. I said, well, that's what I've been telling you. This fucker doesn't stop. He's constantly. And then, if you have people over, he's jumping all over everybody. He's nonstop. So then you throw him in the cage, maybe throw a bone in there to shut him up for a minute. But he, eats that bone within seconds. And then he's just whining the whole time because he wants to hang out with everybody. It's like this dog, you can't enjoy yourself because this dog is just constant attention. Yeah, he's a dick. Yeah, he drives me nuts. But yeah, I mean, he's great with the kids. He loves them, and he is a very sweet and playful dog. But he's constant.
I'm going to tell you. I remember Precious. Precious was one of my favorite dogs, right?
Yeah.
But I don't mean to, John. I'm going to apologize in advance. John, my friend John and Dawn from Florida. They had the most magnificent dog. This beautiful white big dog named Hunter. And I fell in love with him from the jump. And I was very attached to him. And sometimes when I would walk him, so John, I'm giving you a big shout out to Hunter. Hunter was a great dog. He was one of the best dogs I ever met.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, all dogs suck.
So
I shouldn't say that. I'm saying, but that was my favorite dog, probably.
Yeah, I have no problem saying the cats suck. I don't like cats. Well, and plus the fact I am deadly allergic to cats.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I hate them anyway. Even if I wasn't allergic to cats, I think I'd still hate them. So all the best to Samantha Ramsdell. Hope she's okay, and hopefully we'll reschedule before her show on Sunday, and then maybe even Sunday night I'll get her in here. Maybe she seems like the type that would be willing to come in here.
Wait, you do a show on Sunday evenings here?
Sometimes Don Sill and I.
Where is he?
Sometimes Don Sill and I will come in here on a Saturday night or a Sunday night, and we call it Live from Governor's Green Room. Because the green room, I can see the green room from here. So sometimes we'll get, whatever stages are open, who's ever playing them, we try to get them to come in.
Yeah.
Before, after, both, whatever they want to do. And we just talk about, how was the night? How was the audience? What's it like playing here compared to a different place? Or, if this is like their home, if somebody's like from this area and they're playing here, is this a hometown show? And then, then you'll see like some of these comedians, then they just start talking to each other and they're sharing stories and they're picking on each other or they just start talking shop. We have a great time with that one. We've had a lot of fun. Orlando Jones sat with us last summer. Maybe 2-3 years ago, Shane Gillis was in here with us.
Wow.
Roy Wood Jr. You know who Roy Wood Jr. is? You'd know him if you saw him. Roy Wood Jr., what do they call that? It's an annual event at the White House where they bring in like all the staff and the media and they have this big fancy dinner and a comedian always speaks at it. I forget what they call that. But this guy Roy Wood Jr. just did it last year. Do you recognize Roy Wood Jr.?
I do.
Yeah.
Yes.
He came in here once before he went up. He enjoyed his time in here so much that he even said it. He goes, when I'm done, after my show, he says, I'm coming back. I'm like, okay. He literally said goodnight to the audience. Now, when you walk off the stage here, governors, you can get into the green room from this hallway, but then there's another door. You open the door, and it's the stage. Like, you don't have to go through any hallway when you get off stage. The stage, you go out, exit stage right, and it's the green room. So he walked off the stage, through the green room, came right back in here. Like, he didn't sit down for 10 minutes, nothing. He came right back, which I was very proud of that. Like,
wow.
This is Roy Wood Jr., one of the biggest comedians in the country, and, yeah, he couldn't wait to get back in here. Yeah, we've had a bunch of guys, Kevin Valentine, Adam Ferrara.
Wow.
Yeah, Joey Cola.
Some pretty big names.
Kevin James. He would not go on the air, but he did come in for about 5 minutes once.
He did.
Hung out with me and Joey Cola. Yeah. Him and Joey Cola are friends. So Joey was in here with me, and Kevin was actually about to leave. He did a show, and Joey yelled something, like some kind of inside joke. He just yelled it out. Sure enough, Kevin James came running right back. And they hugged, and they sat maybe 5 minutes. Which fine. You know, he did, again, he wouldn't go on the air, but he wasn't a dick. He wasn't like just talking to Joey and ignoring me. Like, it was like the three of us talking. Nice guy. He didn't go on the air either, but we had Colin Quinn in here. Now, Colin Quinn has a cousin by the name of Tim Gage, who's a comedian. Tim Gage is one of the biggest supporters of this room, if not the biggest.
Really?
He comes in here every time he's playing here, and not just comes in. Like, there have been times where he'll sit in here and be like, fuck it, I'm not going to go up. I'm just going to hang in here. Like, when he comes in, you're not getting 5 minutes and just being cordial. You're getting at least an hour, and he'll talk about anything you want to talk about. He's the best guy, but he's cousins with Colin Quinn.
Wow.
So Colin Quinn was here doing a benefit of some sort. This is maybe like 2 years ago or so. And I'm standing outside the door here. We weren't on the air. I'm just talking to some people, but I hear Tim Gage say to Colin, "Oh, Colin, come with me. I want to introduce you to my friends in the podcast studio." I was like, "Oh shit!" Comes right over, introduces, and I'm thinking to myself, "Holy shit, fucking Colin Quinn!" Again, one of the biggest comedians in the country.
Yeah.
So we're talking. Nice guy, very nice guy. He hadn't gone up yet, so I'm like, I'm not going to bug him to go on the air. Like, I'm just going to talk. We're just going to hang out. But then I screwed up. He had a thing on. He produced his own series. It was on YouTube. It was called Cop Show, and it was basically a parody of every cop show. You get the anonymous phone call that somebody that you're looking for is in some building. You're like, okay, thanks. They never tell you who it is. He goes and they bring him back, and they're in the the room for questioning, and they throw the chair and they get all in the guy's face, and the guy, of course, is going to crumble and tell you everything.
Oh yeah.
Totally big parody, very funny, and it was called Cop Show. Now, so we're talking, and I said to him, I really loved that show you were doing on YouTube. And he goes, "Oh, you really like that one, huh?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "I was a really big fan of Cop Rock." Now, Cop Rock, are you familiar with Cop Rock?
No.
Now, I never watched a second of this show called Cop Rock. I have no idea why it was even in my head. And I even had to look it up after the fact. This show was on like late 80s, early 90s. It was a TV show on Channel 7. It was a cop show, like, detectives and whatnot, but it was a musical. Like, it would be all cops, like, "We got to find this man." Like, it was awful. It was awful. And it's kind of gone down as history as one of the, that's why people know it. It's like one of the worst TV shows ever to make it on the air. I never watched a second of this show. Why this was in my head, I have no idea.
I have no idea.
And that's what I said to Colin Quinn. So, I loved that show, Cop Rock. And sure enough, he looked right at me. He goes, "Oh, that was a different show. That my show was Cop Show." And then all of a sudden it dawned on me what like at first I'm like, why did he say that? And all of a sudden it hit me. I was like, I just fucking said Cop Rock. And I look over at Tim Gage, and he's like, he just wants to kill me. Like, he instantly regretted bringing his cousin to come talk to me.
Oh, God.
And I'm really sorry, man. I'm really sorry. I don't know why he said that. He goes, "Nah, it's fine. It's fine." Then we finished the conversation, and off they went. I came in here, and I just sat here like a loser, just sitting there like this. That took me like 2 days to get over. I couldn't believe I said that to this man.
You did my face.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I did. Which, by the way, I don't know if you last Friday when Andy was in here, we were talking about that on the air. He thought the idea was genius, and he felt that you could really make something of that.
Of what?
Like, well, that was a conversation. Well,
I
don't know if you were here. We had a conversation about you if you wanted to do stand-up, and like that would be like your gimmick, to tell like a joke, like maybe self-deprecating joke or something, and just make
that's what I do.
Right, and so on Friday, Andy was in here, and we were on the air, and he said, I watched that on Wednesday. Yeah. He goes, I thought that was a genius idea, and he goes, I think Mike could really sell that and do it well if he really wanted to pursue that. Like,
Thank you, Andrew.
Yeah, just thought I'd tell you that.
Cop Rock.
Yeah, Cop Rock. Let me go back and read. I haven't been reading any comments. Let's see what's going on. A lot of comments going on here. Nice blue shirt. You look like yesterday's forecast. That's right. We're bringing in the nice weather. It's crappy outside today here in New York.
It really is.
But we're bringing in a sunny atmosphere.
Me and you are two
sunny
mother truckers.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Andy Pagano's Carhartts are made mainly in Mexico, some in the U.S.
Oh.
All right.
Thank you.
Carhartt says from their supply arriving late in Mexico because they're on delay. On delay. Andy Pagano says. Yeah, that could be it. You and Fremder go on stage together. You can tell his bad jokes. Did you see the movie Constipation? It hasn't come out yet. That's fantastic. Andy Plagano says, stop. Your deck was a good size. Yep. Oh, Fremder. One time my cat got out. Don't ask meow. Oh, my goodness. Cats are cute, especially how their asses look like the tip of an ashy cigar. I can't say I've looked at their asses that closely.
Either have I.
There's so many strange people watching this. Sammy loves swinging just like her old man. Oh, my goodness.
When you said that,
I knew
something was going to happen.
Yep.
Yeah.
When I found out my dog was Jewish, I wished him mazel rough after his bark mitzvah. Whew, boy. John Rusiello, my dog Hunter loved Mike. It was weird. He did not like people.
He didn't.
Wow.
He was not the friendliest of dogs.
But he liked you.
Loved me. I loved him. He was oh God.
You thought too sure we can get the dog, but on the way home I'm going to have to stop off and get some peanut butter. All right. I think I can guess what the weird liquid coming out of his ass was. Next time use the dolly for a llama. Oh, that was Andy Plagano's.
Wow.
What the? Did Fremder take over your account? What the? John Rusiello, that was so cruel, poor dog. Yeah, I'm assuming he's talking about Magoo.
That was horrible.
Then you took a shower to wash off all the Magoo. All right, that's not bad. I lost my Magoo this morning when I woke up. To make a long story even longer. Yeah, I did. I told a long story today. But we had time to kill. I have a page of questions for Samantha Ramsdell. Oh, here it is.
Well, we still have a thing to go over. So we have things.
Oh, yeah, we do have plenty of things. But, I don't know. I was telling a story. So what?
I thought it was lovely.
Thank you. It was so funny. Mike would come over my house screaming and yelling about the cats. Oh, John Rusiello had cats. Oh, about your cat. You would go to his house complaining about
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Now, John lived right next door to you, right?
Diagonally.
Like, you just couldn't say diagonally. It was just...
No.
That...
Everything has to be.
That right there, that is all Jackie Gleason right there. Because I know you're a big fan of Jackie Gleason.
Is my comedic icon.
That's
and who made better faces than him?
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
But that move, I mean, that's totally something he would do. Right.
And I've been always doing it.
When my dog passed away, I just went to the store and got the same dog so I wouldn't have to change the pictures in the house. I did that with wives. My first wife was Lisa. My second wife is Lisa. Their birthdays were a day apart. Different years, but a day apart.
Wow.
Yeah. When I first, so Lisa being wife number 2, the wife I'm with now, the mother of my children, when we first started dating and I asked her what her birthday was, and she told me September 13th, I'm like, I even asked her, I said, is this a joke? Because my first wife was September 14th. Yeah, I thought that was very weird. So I didn't have to change any towels in the house or anything. Or there was actually, in all seriousness, I didn't save anything, but I did save one Christmas ornament that I liked that said Tony and Lisa on it.
That's hysterical. I don't really understand the towel one.
Well, because sometimes people have names on the towel.
Oh, I see. I see.
But, I mean, I can't tell you. I can't tell you how many times people are like, oh, you don't have to change the name on anything. You're married to Lisa. And they had the same middle name, too. Lisa Ann. Yeah. And they still, to this day.
Wow.
To this day, I've been divorced from wife number 1 for almost 30 years. Well, we divorced. We split up in '96, I think it was. So almost 30 years. To this day, the two Lisas still get like mail mixed up with each other and stuff.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's still. I mean, nothing important.
Right.
But yeah, but you'll still get something in the mail.
But a random advertisement.
Yep. Or like sometimes if Lisa's getting like her credit checked or she's buying a house or a car or something, and they like they'll say to her, "Well, we see this thing is out," and she's like, "No, that's not me. That's Tony's first wife." I'm like, sorry.
You know how people say you have a type? Like I have a type, dark hair, dark eyes, all that stuff.
Yeah.
You have a type, same name.
I guess so. But then Sally, she spells her name Sallie.
I-E, yeah.
So if you scramble the letters, I mean, it's not all the letters, but the name Lisa is in there.
What was Sally's middle name?
All 3 of them. Ann.
Wow. And your mother's name is Ann.
Yes.
Oh, you have mommy issues. I knew it. You have mommy issues. Did you wear your mother's dresses when you were young?
I cannot tell a lie. There's a local comedian. He still makes the rounds once in a while. He used to have a show in here. His name is Tim Saliani.
Saliani, okay.
That's his last name, Saliani. And he loves Sally. He always would just praise how great she is. So I used to tease Sally. It's like, if you married Tim Saliani.
Saliani.
No, her middle name is Ann.
So
your name would be Saliani. And a part of me, now that we're not together anymore, part of me hopes that they end up together.
Oh, absolutely. You got to fix them up.
Yeah, right. Saliani.
Wow.
Is that hilarious? I was
she
so
should
proud
marry
of
the guy
myself.
just for that.
I was so proud of myself when I came up with that. I think I used to say it so much, I think still wants to beat me up. But she wants to beat me up for a lot of reasons. But. No, I just saw Sally last week, by the way, and she's doing well.
Oh, that's good.
Yes, it was good to see her. Did I read that one already? Yes, okay. My friend's dog couldn't stop humping after he read the book 50 Shades of Greyhound. Oh, thank you, Andy Plajanos. The White House Correspondents' Dinner. They do that once a year. And, yeah, Roy Wood was the comedian last year. And,
wow.
Yeah, and he's been in this room. And Shane Gillis, who just hosted Saturday Night Live a couple of months ago, he's been in here. Yeah, we've had a lot of cool people in here. And Kevin Pollak, the actor.
You told me that one.
Andy Plajanos.
That's a big one.
Yeah, Andy Plajanos was because he was in here. I think he was a little starstruck. Because Andy does impressions, and that was Kevin Pollak's breakout. He would do impressions. So, Andy was thrilled, and he was great.
Kevin Pollak has done some big-time stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
A Few Good Men.
A Few Good Men. He was terrific in that movie.
And one of my favorite movies of all time, The Usual Suspects.
Oh, that's a great movie.
Oh, that movie. Great unbelievable. There's a great Chinese restaurant, says Fremder, up the block from me called Doc Lee Meow. It was in your head because you were probably confusing it with the porn parody Cock Drop. No, I said Cop Rock. No, I actually went on, the next day I went on the internet and looked it up. I'm like, yeah, that's the show. Damn it. And I was looking at all the people that were on it. Sheryl Crow was actually an extra on that show.
On Cop Rock?
Yeah, you see in the background singing. Yeah. Wow. Maybe that's why that show was in my head. I don't know, because I love Sheryl Crow.
I know you do.
From there, I write my comments in English, right? What?
Huh?
I wasn't aware you could lease a wife. All right, Tony and his wife.
That's pretty funny. Lisa wife.
You can
Get it?
Lisa wife? Oh, Lisa wife.
Yeah.
All right. It is 12:11. I have one thing I wanted to go over, and then I know you have your question of the week.
Well, it's a question you gave me.
Okay. I did not. I gave you a list of questions. So, a few weeks ago, Mike asked that question about like
a cover comic.
Tribute bands, tribute comedy. And we had a big discussion with it. I had a few people even contacting me afterwards, continuing the conversation.
Yeah.
So I suggested to Mike that we have Mike's question of the week every week. And so I actually looked up a bunch of questions, printed them out, and gave them to you.
Mm-hmm.
But I only read maybe the first two. I didn't read the rest.
Oh, no,
so
I read them all. I'm going from 1 to, there's like 15.
Oh, is it that many? I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
All right. I just have one quick thing, and then we're going to get to that.
Yes, sir.
When you retired, one of the things you tried to keep yourself busy a little bit and make some extra money was bus driving, correct?
Yeah.
like a school bus?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm not trying to embarrass you, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No, I believe it or not, being a bus driver is actually, I think, a very good job. It just was not for me.
Job. Yeah.
It's a very important job.
Oh yeah, with those screaming punks behind you all day. No.
Oh.
Yeah, I would. Yeah. But all right. But this is my question. Yesterday, I was taking Sammy somewhere, and we were running late. So I wasn't like flying around in the car, but I just had to get to where we were going.
Yeah.
And now Lisa is like the queen of lateness. She's always late. And both of my kids have inherited this trait.
Okay.
And I'm the exact opposite. I'll arrive somewhere an hour early.
I'm like you.
I don't care. I'd rather make sure everything is all good to go and then sit for a half hour, and I can just relax now and just kind of enjoy the surroundings, get used to everything, and do whatever I'm doing. So and it's a big deal to me. Like, I hate being late. To me, I'm just embarrassed when I'm late. I hate it.
Hate it.
So we weren't running late, but we were pretty close to it. So I'm driving down. Actually, right.
Don't tell me you went.
No. I'm not going to tell you that.
Okay.
So what happened was, driving down Gardeners Avenue.
Yeah.
Now, coming up to a school. This was like 4 o'clock. So school is out. But it's around 4 o'clock. And there's a small bus in front of me. So we're just driving. Now, the school, they have, the half moon driveway.
Yeah.
We're in front of the school driving. There's a school bus right in the middle of the half moon at the entrance of the school and starts to go. The small bus in front of me actually slams on the brakes to the point I was like, whoa. So I'm now stopped. This bus stopped to let that bus come out and go. And you see the two of them are waving to each other, and I'm like, is that a law? Is that a thing? Like,
no.
I can see maybe if the bus was waiting on traffic, it was waiting right there to go. I'm not a fan of, when you're driving and you just stop in the middle of nothing to let something go. I'm not a fan. That's how an accident happens. But I could at least understand it if but no, this thing was right in the middle. So this bus stops, and now we're waiting for this thing to. And I'm like, what the flying foul filth is that? and it, and again, I'm late, so I'm like, but so I immediately thought to myself, Mike drove a bus. I'm going to yell at Mike tomorrow on the show.
What are you yelling at me for?
Because you're a bus driver. No, is that common practice with you bus drivers?
No. The only time that we would all stop is if there was the big buses and they had to get out first. So all the small buses would stop, but there would be like 10 small buses and then like 20 big buses. It was never one. No, I've never heard of that.
But even it wasn't even waiting. It was up in the middle. Like, you guys would do that or no?
No.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
No.
Yeah, I was very, very puzzled by it.
Was he at a stop sign?
No.
So he just stopped on a random street in front of the school. No
I think he
yield
saw-
sign, no stop sign, nothing.
I'm telling you, I'm positive of that. There was nothing. That bus, I remember seeing it as we're driving. That bus was starting to move. And then all of a sudden, that's when this guy stopped. And as soon as that bus went, then the bus went.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
Did you happen to see who the driver was? Was the driver of the bus coming out of the Half Moon a female?
I don't think so, but I'm not positive.
You're not sure.
Why?
The obvious reasons. Maybe it was a male bus driver stopping to try to flirt with her.
Oh.
Believe it or not, bus drivers.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
What? Horny?
I don't know about that.
So, what do you mean? Oh, like or hot? What are you telling me?
There's a lot of female bus drivers.
Good-looking female bus drivers?
I saw a bunch.
Really?
Yeah.
Where? I gotta move to that district.
Well, I happen to work for a private Suffolk transportation. It didn't belong to a school.
I don't
School
recall
district.
if I've ever seen a hot school bus driver.
Really?
I probably have. I just don't know.
Oh, I did, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And then what? Like at the end when all the kids are gone and they're like driving back to base, do they like get in the back of the bus?
I don't know. You know there's cameras on all the buses. Inside the buses.
Yes.
You did know that.
Now, yeah.
Do you know if you pass a bus with this stop arm out, there's cameras on it.
Oh, yes, I did know that.
It's a $250 fine. Second one is $500.
Wow. Well, as it should be.
It should be. You should never.
Totally.
Because kids walk in front of the bus,
Yep.
Yeah.
Speaking of cameras, you know what? No, I'll let you do your question.
No, you have something, what?
Yeah, well, I was thinking of John Rusiello. He hasn't commented in a while, but I don't know if he's still watching. But I have 2 stories involving police. So I wanted to share this with John. And one of them involves a camera.
Huh.
Actually, both of them do. But I'll tell you the bad story first because I'm a big cop supporter. I do believe they get a bum rap. Mm-hmm. They don't get the respect they deserve. But having said that, there are occasionally ones that, ruin it. There's one bad apple.
Like there's bad comics.
And everything. Right. Bad comics. There's bad people, bad politicians.
And everything.
And every walk.
Yes.
Yeah. There's one. So in Nashville, a video is out floating of this woman. She's in a car. She's got she's taking video of herself, and she gets pulled over for speeding. Now you see a little bit of the police car in the background. You see the cop come walking over. The video is from the neck down, so you don't see his face, but he's got a Nashville police officer's uniform on. Explains to the woman, that she's going to get a ticket for speeding, and she's like, "Well, what if I show you these?" She looks like you don't really get a really good look at her, and I didn't see the whole video. I just saw a news report, so you don't see a lot of the video. But she offers to show him her tits. And he goes, "Ma'am," he goes, "I've seen a lot of tits in my day." He goes, "I can go on my phone right now and look up any porn and see tits." He goes, "I don't need to see your tits."
Right.
So this was obviously a set thing. She goes, "Well, what if I let you touch them?" Next thing you know, he's feeling her. He's going down. She's now doing things with him. And this video is out there. This cop is a freaking moron. Luckily, Nashville police figured out who it was. This guy was a real cop who decided to make this video with this woman, and they fired his ass, as they should. I mean,
that's the height of stupidity.
The height of stupidity,
today's age,
and the height of disrespect.
Oh my!
Like you're a
God.
freaking cop.
Yeah.
Have a little respect.
You're supposed to be the pillar of the communities.
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
There's an event next week. It's not at Governor's, so I won't really get into a lot of detail. But Jackie the Joke Man Martling, who we had, Greg Criticos, who's been on the show numerous times, they're performing at this event. And so yesterday afternoon, we filmed a little promo in here. So the guy, Paul Vecchione, who was also in here a few weeks ago, talking about mental health. He has a charitable organization called Long Island Prep. And so he's putting an event together, a fundraiser. He's a big mental health guy. So we were filming a promo for him. So Paul's doing whatever he's going to do with it to promote his event. So, but they're in here yesterday. Now, this guy, Greg Criticos, and Jackie the Joke Man, they're, functioning alcoholics. Functioning? They're recovering alcoholics. Thank you. Yes. Sorry. It's been years for both of them since they've had a drink. So they're talking about that. They're talking about the whole mental aspect. And they were talking a lot about our veterans. How this country, unfortunately, doesn't really do what they should with the veterans, and they don't get a lot of help from the mental aspect of things, and a lot of them get screwed up. And they were talking about that for a while, but I didn't say anything, but in my head too, not that I'm disagreeing with them, but I just feel they should have included our first responders in that conversation. There was no mention of it. The cops, the EMTs, the firemen. There's a high suicide rate among cops.
Yeah. Divorces.
Yes. They deserve everything. I know they get, discounted mortgages, and they get special discounts. I'm sure you probably do as a veteran.
I have a VA mortgage right now, yeah.
And you all deserve it. I don't have a single ounce of negativity to say about any of that. But when a guy like this disrespects the uniform like that, and I'm not a cop, I guess the closest relation for me was Lisa's father is a retired, he's been passed on for almost 2 years, but he was a Nassau County cop.
Yeah.
That's probably the closest to having a cop in my family that I can think of. But I have a lot of friends who are cops, and I work with the PAL. I have nothing but respect for, and I got mad, seeing this story. Like, what a dick.
You're right. John would be a good person to ask what kind of services. I know
he said that cop is an asshole, he said.
Oh, he did chime in.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
That cop is an asshole. John.
I thought you were going to say something before we talked about John.
I was. I know John has told me a lot of stories about cops that are in some sort of hot water or trouble or at home or on the job.
Sure.
And they do offer services. I don't know to what depth,
Right.
Just like the veterans. You're absolutely right. It should be all lumped in, I think.
Oh, absolutely.
It should be spoken about.
But yeah, this piece of shit, yeah, he got what he deserved, and I hope he's happy. Now he's, lost his pension and, lost his good job.
His life is totally ruined now.
As it should be.
Yeah. I agree.
And not to be a dick about it, if he truly feels bad, if he truly looks back and says, what was I thinking? Then, I would say, okay, you're forgiven. Not that I would give him his job back, but I would forgive him. I wouldn't call him an asshole anymore. I would just say, he's a nice guy. He just did something stupid.
Yeah.
But until that happens, you're an asshole and you deserve it.
You're an asshole. That's an asshole. You're not an asshole. The guy.
Well, I am, but so is that guy. But now there's this other story coming out of Texas. There's this woman. She puts out this video where she was being put under arrest. And she's, I don't want to say resisting, but she's giving the cops a little bit of a hard time, right? They got her on the ground. I think it's her video. I'm not positive.
Or the body cam, maybe?
It might be the cop's body cam, but if I'm not mistaken, the woman only, she got the footage and she only put out a little bit of it. Or maybe it's the media that did it, like they did with Rodney King. Rodney King, they only put out the footage of the cops beating him up.
Yeah,
they didn't release the footage of him trying to beat the cops up before that. And that's a whole other story.
Yeah.
This story is nothing like that, thank goodness. But the video that I saw only shows this woman on the ground. She's in handcuffs, and a cop pushes her face into the ground. She was screaming. She was kind of bouncing around a little bit. They're trying to contain her, and he pushes her into the ground. She claims that when the cop pushed her face into the ground, that there was an anthill. So her face got stung, a whole bunch of times. which maybe it did. I don't know. She released a picture of her face all, who knows. But it comes out later, and of course this woman is suing and, the whole works. But it comes out later. First of all, the cops went after this woman because she was out of school, driving maybe on the half moon or just driving, in front of the school, going in the wrong direction. Now, talking about schools and school buses, to me, that's a big deal.
Oh yeah,
because it just takes one kid to not look, and chances are pretty high with that. Kids are looking at their phone, they're looking at their books, they're talking to their friends.
Yeah,
they're kids. They're not going to think that. And they might look the right way, seeing that no cars are coming. They might not think to look the other way, where this stupid bitch is driving the other way. So the cops are going after her. She tried to elude the cops.
Oh.
Right. So I'm sorry, but don't bitch that your face was put into an ant
when
mound.
you're running away from cops.
Right. Right. Sorry, but none of that would be happening if you didn't do something wrong and then tried to elude the cops. I have no sympathy for you.
No.
And then the cops responded after, because she had a press conference and, cops should be more aware. And her face looked fine in the press conference, by the way. But the police chief responded. He goes, yeah, the cop did put her head down to restrain her. She did manage to yell, hey, my face is getting stung up from ants. He goes, this was literally seconds when the cop heard her say that, he then lifted her head back up.
Right.
He goes, but she was resisting arrest.
She ran away from the cops.
Right. So I have no sympathy for this bitch either.
No.
So that pissed me off. So boom, boom. That's that. Those are my stories I wanted to share. Beansy's watching. Hi, Beansy. Fremder, I guess based on the police footage, the court would rule that there was no cop blocker. That cop lost his pension inside her tits. Well, yeah, pretty much. It's wrong for a cop to mistreat a lady, hands down. Right. All right. All right. It's just about 12:30. So what? We'll go. You're right. Going a few minutes after because we got your question of the week.
Yeah, because I have a few. Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right. So the first question that was on your list is, who is the funniest person that you know and why?
That you know, so know personally.
So my first question to you is it someone that I know personally?
You're asking me?
Because you asked me the question.
Oh. I thought you were asking the question.
Oh, okay. All right.
Mike's question of the week.
Then I'll ask you.
Okay.
All right, then
we're asking everybody.
All right, then I'll ask you, but I'd like to answer the question myself.
Of course.
So the person I want to ask you, the funniest person you know on a personal level.
Personal level.
On a personal level. Can I answer first?
Question. Well, yes, because I need to think about it. Yeah. As do they.
It's a tie. It's for me.
Okay.
There's one guy who I've known since I'm 5 years old. His name is Stephen Calabrese. He lives in Florida now. We only talk on Facebook once in a while. But he was just a serious, funny son of a bitch. He would just be funny all the time.
Okay.
I don't even think he even meant to be funny.
Oh.
And I just wanted to give you an idea of how funny he was. We were like 19 years old. He just got a car. He was driving. I was in the passenger seat. We were on Sunrise Highway, and back then there was a lot of traffic lights before they opened it up.
Oh, is that right? Out in Suffolk, they had
yeah.
Really?
There was a lot of traffic lights.
I did not know that.
A lot of traffic lights.
Okay.
Now it's all open, right?
Yeah.
So we're driving, and he's driving, and he's just with this deadpan serious face. He's looking in the rearview mirror. He goes, "Holy shit, Mike!" He goes, "We're gonna get to the stoplight. There's a pickup truck with a guy. You gotta see his wife. She's fucking hot." So we pull up, and this pickup truck. And I'm trying to be nonchalant. This pickup truck pulls right next to us at the red light. And I go like this. And it's the mangiest, dirtiest old German Shepherd in the passenger seat. I thought I was going to puke. And it's very hard to make me laugh.
Yeah, yeah.
And, but he was always like that. He would be smoking cigarettes, he'd make fun of everybody seriously. Like me almost, maybe. So with that, my second person, believe it or not, is you.
Oh, come
I've
on!
been watching you 25 years.
Then you don't know enough people, or you know some pretty miserable people.
What are you trying to say?
That you know miserable people.
No, I've watched you in action for all these years on stage, here, just hanging out. Very funny.
Wow. Well, thank you, pal. Wow. I didn't see that coming at all, and I thank you very much for that. We did. I think we talked about it last week. We did a murder mystery a couple weeks ago because I had asked you to do it.
Yeah.
We ended up getting somebody new who had never done one of our shows before, never even seen our shows before. I saw him last week, and he comes up to me and he goes, "I just want to thank you again for putting me on that show." He said, "I had a great time." I said, "Well, you did a great job. Thank you." And he looks at me and goes, "You're really funny."
You are really funny.
I said, "Well, I do my job well." I said, "I've been doing it for a long time." I said, "So I'm just skilled." He goes, No. He goes,
No.
"You're very funny." Yeah, I thought that was very nice of him. And
you know how to come
cool.
back with people with the microphone. That improv, you're very good at.
Yeah,
it.
but that's why I say skilled, because I've been doing this. I mean,
You
what?
can't learn ad-libbing. You can't. You think you can learn improv?
Yeah, but it's not improv. It's ad-lib. There's a difference.
ad-libbing. Yeah.
My ad-libbing, though, is mostly just reactionary to what's going on. And I've talked about it on the show before. Like, the skill, there's two skills to it. The first time you say it or you hear somebody else do it, then the skill is remembering it. So that
you almost gave yourself.
I know, I'm like all over the place. I was swatting this gnat that's just driving me crazy. The skill is just remembering that because you can use it, at another show. And then the other skill is just making it look like you just thought of it, and then people are like, "Oh, that guy is good."
I understand that, but remember you and I, you asked me to do the show at that castle up there on the North Shore there a couple months back.
Oh, yes.
So I remember, because I blew all the lines, and I remember watching you.
You had what, a week's notice?
Still.
No, and you didn't blow anything. You were fine.
I think we got through it, but I was watching you. Yes. I was able to, since I just kind of took a seat. I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing, so I'm just going to watch Tony. So I was watching you back and forth with the microphone with the people. You can't teach someone that. You can't, because you never know what's going to come out of someone's mouth.
Well, true.
So you do have a skill of have just that funny wit. You can't teach funny wit. I think you can. I think you can learn. I think most people can learn to be an actor. I think to do things like that.
Right.
But is that the Domino's guy?
Yeah.
Okay. I was watching you. I'm like, wow. I thought you were funny before because I haven't seen you perform in a while. I'm like, wow, he really got really even better than I.
We weren't having a great time, and again, I'm not. It wasn't a great crowd. The guy that hired us got into an argument with his wife.
She stormed off. Remember, got in the car. Yeah,
and that just kind of set the tone. A lot of people didn't know each other, which we thought they did.
Yeah,
it was not.
It was an odd.
It was a weird day.
Very strange.
And I do remember feeling like okay, and there was one particular actress who doesn't work with us anymore who sucked, and I was having issues with that girl. She was sucking for a long time, not in a good way. And our performance, if there was any, if we're to blame for any of it, it was because of her, in my opinion. I do remember thinking that day, I need to step this up. If this is going to be saved, I need to really get out there. So I guess that's what we did. Is that John again? It is. Calling twice.
Wow.
You must have a lot to say. You're calling a second time.
The only reason why I'm calling you is I just want to back up Mike. Before I met you, before Mike always talked about you in the garage, and he always said you are one of those funniest guys he's ever met and worked with.
Well, I believed you.
I knew all about you. I knew all about you before. I actually talked to you, but Mike, he very seldom lies. He only lies when he looks in front of the mirror in the morning, and he looks at himself. But no, I'm not blowing smoke. He always said you are the most funniest guys he ever met.
Thank you.
Well,
John.
I did. I appreciate the call, but it's not like he needed backup. I believed him when he said it.
Well, no, because you didn't look like you believed him. You look like you thought he was full of shit. I mean, I'm looking at your facial expressions.
Well, yeah, it's hard. It is hard for me to
and
accept
no one
something
reads
like that.
No one reads faces better
Well,
than this guy.
you got to take a compliment when a compliment is due. All right, just like I compliment Andy, how ugly he looks, how great he looks. He
Yes.
understands this. You know, he really understands these things. Love you. Goodbye. I got to talk to you later.
Thank you, John. And thank you, pal. That is very nice. I've told the story on here before. There was a show we did years ago. A woman hired us. She wanted us to, this is probably maybe 15 years ago or so. A woman hired us. Her son was turning 30. And basically she wanted us to roast him. So it was me.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was me and Sal and that bitch who sued me. The three of us were doing the show together.
So you had to get to know this guy first to roast him.
She loaded us with info.
Oh,
okay?
she did. Okay.
This guy, she told us he loves pirates. He loves having drink. He loves drinking games. He loves drumming, and there are some other things. But those are the three
pirates.
things.
You could have ran.
Well, that's what we did. We walked into this room dressed as pirates, and I had the peg leg. You know, like we're doing the whole thing. We bring this guy up. He's sitting up there with us. We're in front of the crowd, probably maybe 50 or 60 people. Private room in a restaurant. And we start going on. We're acting like pirates, and we're bringing up some personal info, and he's doing you. He's like this. And we're looking
He didn't crack a smile?
He didn't crack a smile. Now, the audience, too, they're looking. I'm getting a lot of looks like this. We're only about 10 minutes in. And I could see that. I mean, this was the case as soon as we started. So... and one of the first things that we try, actually, we probably went longer than 10 minutes. We probably went like 15. And one of the things we tried, because again, this woman told us he loves drumming. So we were like, all right, well, we couldn't bring in a drum set or two drum sets. So we were like, let's have an air drum contest. Now, Sal is a drummer. So I'm like, Sal, have an air, let's see, maybe that'll be funny if we have an air drum contest. And she told us he likes heavy metal music, and Sal likes heavy metal music. So we put on some Judas Priest, and Sal is like, and he's overdoing it, and he's having fun. The guy is next to him like this. Sal stops. He goes, "What are you, chopping salad? What are you doing?" So with that, I think that was the final thing that got me. We stopped everything. I even went like, "Wait a minute now. Wait a minute." I turned to the guy. I said, "Do you like drumming?" He goes, "No." I go, "Do you like pirates?" He goes, "No." And I said, I point right at it. I said, "Your mother gave us all this info, which is why we're doing this." He goes, "I don't know." I don't know where she's getting any of this from." I had a fake parrot on me. I ripped it off. I ripped my patch off. I ripped off my vest. I said, "All right, we're not doing this then." And I grabbed the microphone and I just went up. So who are you? I did 45 minutes of crowd work. 45 minutes.
That's the best.
And they were cracking up. The girl is performing with us. We had a song planned. We still had her do that. But we ended up, we grabbed these people.
Basically all ad-libbed.
Ad-libbed for 45 minutes. I had them as stitches. I had them in the palm of my hand. I found out that, and this is, again, at least...
Did you ask questions about this guy?
Totally. I was like, who are you? What's your relation to him?
Okay.
So tell me about this. What about that? And then I was just working off their answers. I found out, and again, this is 15 years ago. This is before, pot was legal. It was still, but I found out back then that this guy not only smokes weed, but smokes weed with his parents, which, now it might be more acceptable because it's legal. Like, it would be like having a beer with your dad. But back then it was like, and it did. Everybody reacted.
Yeah.
Smokes weed with his parents. Found out that his fiance was there, and his former fiance was there as well, and they're all friends. So of course I had a field day with that.
Oh yeah.
But that was when I realized I walked out of that show. We got a standing ovation after that, and I do remember thinking after that, like, okay, I can do this. I'm not going to say I sat there and said, well, I'm really good at what I do.
Well, you can never be like that. No one can at their craft.
Well, that's true. Craft. But I didn't get a big head about it, but it was something like, all right, if someone asked me to do this, I can do this. Which is why I took this job at White Post Farms, because that's all I do for 9 hours a day.
Yeah.
I stand there, hey, you look like you're doing this, and why don't you cheer up? And what's with this guy? And
that's hilarious.
I do it all day long. The only time it ever went south was when I told a guy he looked like Tom Petty, and that pissed him off. And I said, anybody ever tell you look like Tom Petty? He goes, go fuck yourself. And this is at White Post Farms. I was like, oh, hey.
Oh, there's little kids walking around there.
Right, that's my point. And he said, go fuck yourself on the mic. It was the first year I was doing it.
The reason why I say don't get overly confident is because, everyone knows I'm not that great of a big Billy Joel fan, right? And not because people have told me I look like him. I just never, I don't know.
You're allowed.
It's right? But I was watching an interview with him just a couple days ago, and he said, he goes, I'm not confident about what I do. I know I'm competent at what I do.
Right.
And I actually gained a lot of respect for him for saying
Yeah.
that. And it was an old interview. He was actually very young when he had this interview because he looked much younger. And I'm like, that's really good.
All right. Yeah. All right. I can go with that.
You're extremely competent at what you do.
Well, thank you very much. I do appreciate that. Tony identifies with a comedian, so his pronouns are he.
It's not bad.
Yeah? All right.
Not really.
Beans just says hope all is well. You too, pal. This bitch sounds like Aunt Judy. What? Who's Aunt Judy?
Who's Aunt Judy?
From your Aunt Judy? I don't. Sorry, don't get that one. Well, yeah. So thank you though. That's very nice. But no. All right. So nobody's answering that in the comments. Who's the funniest person you know?
I think everyone should ask themselves who's the funniest person that they know and why.
So yours, funniest person you know. Now, because that can be taken a few different ways. You're talking about people that you're friends with who are just
on
naturally
a personal level that are just naturally funny.
Because you could say who's. So I just got a text that somebody I used to work with died. And no joke, I haven't seen this guy in a couple of years. Just 2 nights ago, I had a dream about him. I swear to you.
Really?
I am not making that up. I just got a text from my buddy Sab. You guys know Sab. He's been in here a couple times.
Yeah, I've heard you mention him many times.
He got the text from him, and I meant to call him to tell him I had a dream about this guy. This guy... he was not well liked. He was one of our union guys, and he was not well liked. And when he was kind of run out of town. He did eventually retire, but he kind of had to retire.
Yeah.
And then we don't know what happened, but after he retired, about maybe 2 or 3 years later, he just he lost his mind. He was doing some weird stuff, and then about a year ago, he was beating up his wife. He was living down in Florida, beating up his wife. So he got arrested. He made bail, so he, got out. But the very next day, he went back to her and tried to kill her. So he's been in jail or, in the loony bin ever since.
Holy crap.
Yeah, it was a crazy story. And, now I just now got the text that he's dead. But that's all it said. It just said, so-and-so is dead.
That's it. No, hello, how are you?
No, hey, Tony, what's happening?
Hey, Tony.
Just thought I'd let you know.
Hey, Tony.
I almost said his
dead.
name. Yeah, unless there was more to it and I just missed it. But, all right, I'll take a look. We're going a little late today. Hope you guys don't mind. We're having fun, so we're going with it. All right, let's see. Yeah. No, it's it's 3 sentences. So-and-so is dead. I don't know how. Just got an email.
I love it.
That's like an old-fashioned...
is he a funny guy?
Seb's a very funny guy.
Oh, he is. So it's kind of like his humor.
Yeah, kind of.
I just heard...
But he's your typical manly man. I mean, I know Seb because from working at the phone company, we were both linemen.
Yeah.
And Seb is your stereotypical lineman. He's just a big dude. He's all man.
Yeah.
Where I'm a pussy. So, yeah, Seb was just all man, and he had no fear, and he could probably throw a telephone pole up by himself, very funny guy. But a guy like him, they don't know how to text. They just
Why are you calling it a telephone pole?
Utility pole?
Thank you.
All right, calm down.
I'm a highway guy. They are not telephone. The telephone companies own them?
Some of them. Yeah. Telephone company owns poles, and the electric company owns poles.
But aren't all utilities on every single pole?
Yes, but
That's what it is.
But there is ownership.
But thusly called utility poles.
If you drove into a pole right now, one of the cops would look on their records to see who owns the pole, because then whoever owns the pole is now responsible for replacing it. So yeah, there is ownership of each and every pole.
I thought they were what?
Well, Lisa owns my pole.
Trish owns mine.
Every what?
Trish owns mine.
I thought you said she owns mine, meaning like you. I thought you were making a joke that Lisa owns yours too. If I didn't make eye contact, I could have kept going.
I know.
Let's do that next week at 12 noon next week. Let's see how long we can go just making that face.
There's no one beating me at a staring contest.
We don't have to stare at each other. It's just making that face.
Oh, just making that
sitting
face.
here in silence.
Okay.
Just sitting here like, let's see how long we can do that. I did that with another. Do you know John Dorsick by any chance? He's a local actor. He's an big improv guy. He teaches classes. He's great. He's been in here a bunch of times. A few years back, me, him, and Sally, we were talking about. I don't forget how we got into it. We were talking about being silent. So we decided.
Silence is hilarious.
We did 3 minutes and 43 seconds of just sitting here, just sitting here like this. We did 3 minutes and 43 seconds.
You're on.
Okay.
I bet you I could look at that camera and do 5 minutes without what?
All right, you're on. Next week, we're going to do that. Because her face is in a pile of ants. The funniest person I know, says John Ruscello, is his wife. No lie, she is out of her mind funny. And Pagano says, I know all about polls. I know what you're doing, but I said next week. So you have to wait.
I was warming up.
Oh, all right, very good. So yeah, next week at noon, we're going to see how long.
High noon?
High noon.
And he is right. His wife is very funny.
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
Dawn is very funny.
I had the pleasure of speaking to her on the phone once.
Oh, you did?
She sounded delightful. Oh, yeah.
She's delightful.
Yep. All right, but nobody's answering the question. Well, except for John. He's the only one that answered it. All right. Funniest person I know. Well, that's a tough one, man. I've had a lot of fun with a lot of people.
Yeah.
I mean, people that I've met from here.
Besides you and my friend Steve, it's like you. We've performed with so many funny people.
Right. And I've had a lot of laughs at people. Like
yeah,
that's a really tough one for me. Linda Bart is, I think she doesn't try to be funny. Linda Bart, she's been in here, but she's in the murder mysteries with us. When I first started doing murder mysteries almost 30 years ago, she was there. I've been working with her all these years. She's the only person I've been working with steadily since I started doing it in the mid-'90s. She's phenomenal. People love her in our shows. She's just naturally funny. She's having a normal conversation, and she just makes you laugh at the way she says things or how she says it. She's up there. Sab is definitely up there. I was with Sab once when I was sick and on crutches. I forget now if it was after I got sick or when I was sick or before, but somebody had given me a pop-up trailer for camping. But again, I forget when exactly I got it. But either way, it was around the time I got sick. So the thing sat in my driveway for at least a year because I couldn't walk to maintain it or do anything with it. So I somehow came up in conversation with Sab, and I said, if you know anybody, I said, they can just have it. It was old. It wasn't really valuable. So Sab's brother, one of Sab's brothers, said he would take it. I said, all right, great. So I said, we have to go to motor vehicle to transfer the ownership. So me, Sab, and his brother went to motor vehicle. And this was, the woman that was taking care of it, she was like, at that time, so this is, 20 years ago, this was like your stereotypical motor vehicle miserable worker, kind of like Roz from Monsters, Inc. Where's your paperwork, Wisnowski?
Where's your LS 107?
Exactly, just all these miserable people, and they look miserable like
they do.
And that's stereotypical woman. And she's just, I need this, and you do this. And so I forget what the question was, but Sab's brother asked something about needing something. And she's like, no, you don't have to do that. You just do this, and you do that, and then she goes, and then you. So he goes, so I'll be good after that? And she goes, yeah, you'll have it going on after that. Just like that. You'll have it going on after that. Without missing a beat, Sab goes, you're the one who's got it going on, baby. I'm telling you.
I would have died.
I did. I totally died. But I'm telling you, like the sun was shining behind her. You can hear the chorus. Oh, like she just lit up. Big smile. Total transformation. Oh, well, if we just do this, guys. And she was funny and friendly. I'm telling you, it was instant transformation. Just, I'm telling you. And from that moment on, I remember like thinking to myself, I got to do that. That's how I'm going to be with people from now on. That. And I do. I make conversation with everybody.
So do I.
I'm talking like I'm always trying to be.
Do you embarrass Lisa in public? I do it to Trish all the time. People look at me and say, "Hey, it's good to see you. How are you?"
Maybe a little bit. It's more just I think like a fun annoyance. Like we'll go. Lisa's been having some back issues, so maybe like the past month or so I go food shopping with her.
Okay.
So that I can, she doesn't have to stretch to grab stuff.
Yeah.
So we could be walking through the aisle or something, and if she's behind me, I'll just knock something off a shelf in her path.
Oh yeah, that's the great.
And she, why do I bring you? Stuff like that. So yeah, and then maybe sometimes I'll say something. Oh yeah, absolutely.
You got to be silly.
That's yeah. I mean, I don't think I'm ever not. I'm either really mad or I'm just really silly. I'm rarely in between.
Maybe that's why we get along so well. We're the same way. We're either miserable bastards or silly.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I'd say a miserable bastard.
I'm not miserable. Serious, maybe.
Yeah, serious, but not
miserable. No.
No. But I try to.
John will be calling up. He's a miserable fucking Jew.
Yeah. But that's why. See, I could go on with stories where I think Sab is funny. That's a hard question, man. Now, if you said it, who somebody you don't know personally, like somebody in film or a comedian or something, I could probably narrow it down to maybe 5 people. But
even that's hard. I probably could.
That would be hard.
Down.
But people I know personally, like we're saying, because we go out of our way to have a good time.
Yeah.
And so I think because of that, my path has just led me to knowing a lot of people that I've had so many good times with. I hate it.
But the question is someone that that's just really funny just constantly.
Right. But there's so many people that I can, like off the top of my head, I could probably name 10 people. And that's without thinking about it.
Yeah.
I hated working for the phone company. I hated it. Thrilled to be out of there, even though it didn't end well. But I had so many laughs there.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there are a lot of great guys I had the pleasure of working with. There's so many, and then of course guys around here. This is a comedy club. Of course, I'm going to meet people that are funny. Jackie the Joke Man. Jackie the Joke Man. He's known. He just tells jokes.
Yeah.
He doesn't do stand up. He literally just goes on stage and tells what are known as street jokes. A guy walked into a bar. A rabbi, a priest, and a minister, stand at the gates of heaven. Like, he just tells those kind of jokes. But when you're hanging out with him, he just busts your chops and comes up with things that I would never come up with.
Yeah.
And I laugh.
I don't know. I think you're just as funny as him.
That is my humor. I could sit all day here and bust balls.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the owners of Governors here, Joe, who's been in here, love Joe. He owned a restaurant for a while in Roslyn called the Roslyn Social. It's not there anymore, but he had it for a while, and he had like these like gambling chips, but it was like it said Roslyn Social on one side, on the back was like, this chip is good for 1 beer or what. It was some kind of gift certificate type thing. So Jackie's in here one day, and Joe comes walking in, and he throws a few chips on the table. And Jackie looks at him. He goes, Roslyn Social, what's that? And Joe says, well, that's, one of the places I own. Jack, boom, again, without missing a beat, Jack goes, sounds like a disease or a sexual disease or something something like that, he said. I just laughed my ass off like that. And that's when I'm looking at somebody like, man, I would never think of that. I'm like, that's funny.
Some people are just gifted, I think,
Right.
with those really fast comebacks.
It's so unfortunate when someone you work with passes away. How sad. Yes, it is very sad.
Very sad. I saw that.
Yeah.
Oh, is that your brother?
That is my brother. He says, funniest famous person is Tim Conway.
He's up there. He's funny.
He's up there. He wouldn't make my top 10.
I don't know if he'd make my top 10.
He was phenomenal on Carol Burnett, but that was like the only. Everything else he did was not.
Anything.
He was
Carol
on,
Burnett. He was
genius.
Genius.
Without a doubt.
Genius.
But like you could take. There's other people where you can list a whole bunch of different things they did that was comic genius, like Robin Williams, Billy Crystal. There's, they made a million different movies where they were great, and they had a lot of great comedy bits. Tim Conway, it was just, which I'm not trying to knock him. He was phenomenal on that show, but outside of that show, he wasn't really.
Michael Richards is one of my funniest.
Oh, that's
comics.
interesting. He was great on Seinfeld, fantastic on Seinfeld.
I don't think he was a great stand-up comic, was he?
Well, no. No.
But his physicality
yeah,
made him very funny.
He was on a show, I don't know if you remember, so they were Saturday Night Live, but then for a while they tried to do like a Friday night version.
Oh, Friday Night. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't you remember his impersonation of Ronald Reagan?
Yes, I do.
Oh, hi, Mommy. Hi, Mommy. Oh, my
Yes.
God, it was hysterical.
Then there's that other one that it's on YouTube. You can see it where Andy Kaufman is on that show. You ever see this clip?
I don't think so.
Andy Kaufman being typical Andy Kaufman. I'm not a big Andy Kaufman fan.
No, I wasn't either.
I didn't really get it.
No. He was funny on Taxi. Maybe.
Yes, loved him as Latka. But he goes, they're trying to do this sketch, and he just, in the middle of it, he just stops. He's like, I don't get what we're doing here. I don't know what this is. And it just escalates, and now he's yelling at certain people, and the supposed director comes over, and they get into a shoving match. I don't know if this was planned. I don't know, but but as it's starting to escalate, and he's now refusing to say the lines, and the other actors in the skit, there's probably like 6 of them, Michael Richards being one of them. They're trying to cover it and keep going. And at one point, Michael Richards also, he gets up and he walks off, and they're all sitting in like a kitchen. It takes place in the kitchen. They're all sitting at the kitchen table. And Kaufman just, I don't know why I'm not going to say that, because they're trying to get him to say his lines. I'm not going to do this. This is stupid. I don't get it. Michael Richards comes back, shows the big giant cue card right on him, and the place applauds. And I was like, that's
funny.
Fantastic. Yeah, I
that's
think that was great.
Awesome.
Yeah, Michael Richards he was great in his day.
Yeah. Jerry Seinfeld said he would hire him to be on the show. And if you don't like it, don't watch it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, maybe he could have saved that piece of shit movie he just put out.
Oh, I didn't see. Did you tell me about it? Unfrosted?
Unfrosted. It's
I think you
terrible.
told me it's terrible. Yeah.
Terrible.
Wow.
Last night we had Hershey and the Keegs on. Mike Keegan sat here too, saying it was terrible. He's not a Seinfeld fan. He hates Seinfeld, actually. But I don't hate Seinfeld, but that movie was terrible. Fremder, a blind man walks into a bar, then a table, then a chair. All right. With that, we're going to...
Well, Helen Keller, you know how her parents used to punish her?
No.
They'd rearrange the furniture.
Yep. That's awesome. A guy walks into a bar, and it hurt. That's one of my favorite jokes.
I'm dead.
You know the ketchup bottle joke, right?
Ketchup bottle?
It's my favorite joke of all time. It's old. I'll tell it quick, and then we'll get out of here. This girl's getting married. She's very young. She's inexperienced. She gets married. Her and her husband go off that night, and the husband says, honey, we had a long day. It was a great day, but, it was a long day, so I just need to take a nap. He goes, but now that we're married, we can have a little fun. He goes, so what I'm going to do, he goes, I'm going to take a nap. He goes, when I wake up, I want the longest, best hand job I'm ever going to have in my life. I said, okay, honey, whatever you want. We're married now. I'll do whatever you want. You have a nice nap. He goes, all right, thanks, honey. Off he goes. She now rushes off to the phone. She doesn't know what a hand job is because she's young and inexperienced. She has no idea. She gets her mom on the phone. Mom, husband said he wants a hand job. I don't know what that is. What am I going to do? So mom's on the other end of the phone. She's like, how do I describe a hand job to my daughter over the phone? She's like, oh, ketchup bottle. Think of a ketchup bottle. Great, Mom. Ketchup bottle. Got it. Thanks. She gets off the phone. 3 hours later, husband wakes up. Wife is there in the bedroom. He goes, oh, hi, honey. She goes, oh, hi, honey. How was your nap? He goes, oh, it was great. He goes, I'm well rested. I got my second win. I'm good to go. He goes, you remember what I asked for? She goes, oh, yes, honey, I sure do. He says, all right, come on, come here. She gets on the bed with him. They're snuggling. They're hugging, rubbing each other's back. She's looking at him. He's looking at her. They start making out. As they're making out, she takes his shirt off. She takes hers off. They get a little hot and heavy. She goes, works her way down. She pulls his underwear off. And he's standing at full attention. And so she just looks at him. She's giggling. He's looking at her. He's giggling. He's kind of, motioning for her to get started. So they're kissing some more. She's smiling and looking at him. She puts her hand down there. And she's got her hand on it. She's got it in her grip. She's all set. She looks at him again, smiles. That's a great joke. Don't laugh, you prick. That's a great joke. Speaking of a blind man, I always wondered who cleans up seeing eye dog shit. Yeah, who does clean up after them?
Well, can I I'd like to interject at this particular junction. I know we have to go.
Holy moly.
Sometimes when I think something is so funny, I just look at the person and say, that is fucking hilarious.
Oh, a lot of the comedians will do that around it, and they use that word. They go, oh, that's hilarious. Yeah.
But I won't laugh, even though it is funny.
It's weird.
That is a funny joke.
Oh, that is a great joke. I love that joke. But it's almost like they're acknowledging the joke. Like it's almost like laughing is beneath. Like a comedian would rather hear another comedian say that's hilarious.
It's more of a compliment.
Yeah.
Than just laughing.
Yep.
That's how I feel.
All right. Thanks for hanging with us today. We went longer, but so what? We appreciate you sticking around with us. Yeah. Thank you, pal.
Oh. Thank you.
So, we'll possibly reschedule Sam Ransdell for sometime this weekend. This week.
Cat. You don't even know her name, the cat.
Ramsey. Her last name is Ramsdell, so I'm just going with Ramsey.
I like Muffy.
You like Muffy. Muffy Rammy.
We should take a bet.
You wanted to make a bet on what the cat's name is?
Yeah.
All right, I'll bet you $1. The cat's name is Molly.
I'm going to say Diva.
Where the hell did you get that from?
I just made it up.
Diva. All right, Molly and Diva.
Let's see who's close or right on.
All right. So when I hear from her,
might call it. Maybe the name is Pinhead.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm not even going to ask her in advance. If and when we reschedule the interview, I will ask her during the interview so that you see for yourself.
Beautiful.
Okay. We're out of here. Thanks again for sticking around with us today. We had some fun here. Don't forget, govs.com. Lots of great shows coming up on a governor's stage this weekend. The Angry Sicilian, John Valby, Chris Murphy, Ryan Kenny. Samantha Ramsdell is on Sunday. Welly Jackson is playing the club this weekend. Chris Roach is out at McGuire's. I think it's tomorrow. Friday night. Go to govs.com. Make some reservations to some great comedy shows. Don't forget the Knock 'em Dead comedy game show is happening September 28th. We're doing some XXX trivia. We'll do some regular trivia as well. But it's, just going to be an adult-themed night. We're looking forward to that. That's going to be a lot of fun. What else? Govs.com to see their full schedule and make your reservations. KnockEmDeadComedy.com. We got a private party this weekend. But we got a bunch of stuff in the fall. We don't have much this summer, but in the fall we got some shows that are open to the public, including a show at the Brokerage and a show at McGuire's. So, go to KnockEmDeadComedy.com, check out our schedule, and find out information on how you can hire us for your event, a corporate event, a charitable event, a private party, whatever it is. Murder mysteries, game shows, all sorts of fun stuff. So check out Knock 'em Dead Comedy as well. And what's today? Today is Wednesday, so there is nothing on the rest of the day here at Govs. Comedy Club Podcast. Again, please hit the thumbs up and the likes and the follows and all that good stuff. Tell everybody you know about all the great shows, including this one, and including Coffee with the Dog and Circling the Drain, which will be on tomorrow night. So tomorrow I'm in here with Frank, and we have musician Annie Mark will be joining us tomorrow.
She's on the mark.
She's on it, all right. Annie Mark will be with us, and then Circling the Drain on tomorrow night. On Friday, me and Andy will be in here. Comedian Kelpie will be joining us, and comedian Mike Tanzi will be here as well. So that'll be a fun one. And we will hopefully reschedule Samantha Ramsdell. All right, everybody enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. See ya.
What will you experience at a Knock 'em Dead comedy murder mystery show? Suspense, excitement, love, more love, violence. Well, not really. And, of course, some music. Knock 'em Dead Comedy is the #1 murder mystery troupe, entertaining thousands of people for over 20 years.
You have a great night or what? Good.
Their hilarious murder mystery shows are full of audience interaction from beginning to end that will keep you laughing all night long. Their shows are not to be missed. Knock 'em Dead Comedy's murder mystery themes include a mob show, a redneck wedding, a high school reunion, a family reunion with a luau theme, or your own custom show.
Johnny, you have a good time tonight or what? I had an awesome time. All right. You had a great time. KDC, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, yeah.